There we go. Alright. Welcome to the information era. Essentially the last 30, 40, etc. years of history. Maybe even 50. I probably wouldn't push it much further back than 60 though. That is a bit of a long period to push it back. Hydroponic slab, okay. Right, and then you need to, yep. Got to be good at remembering where the animation studio goes. CAD studio. Don't worry about the computer network. That will be obtained for free. Eventually. Give it some time. CAD studio also gets me a free engineer. Nice. So yeah, I went ahead and finished the editing the drawing time lapse together for Atompunk. And the song I picked was named Shaking and Shuddering, which is, well, it's kind of fitting considering the, well, that's just the mood I was going for within that specifically. Certainly fit, I would say. Okay, this first, and then this, yeah. The farm supply has just top priority. The coffee shop has 0 priority. Tree farm, of course. 17 production. Okay, good. I am able to plop a farm on the tile. It is, after all, taiga with fresh water. So, I definitely wanted to keep the other tiles for other things. Just a regular old grassland. Not at the point of magloves yet. That, of course, my reputation. Which also have a rather... Oh, I'll talk about it when we get to it. To an extent, it has to be seen to be believed. Oh, whoops. Oh, okay, so the roasted coffee and tea oil. Yeah, okay. That becomes between the animation studio and the other thing. CGI. Kadesh. Yep. Okay. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff that's better. Needs some efficiency. In building. Okay, and then you, and... Yeah, leather factory, sure. Everything else I'll save for after a few turns in which, well, more tiles should be improved, which should help. I hope. Yeah, the song, I went through the list of songs because, well, fact of the matter is that there's no atomic or information era inside of the base game. It's modern era. Which, by the way, refers to a very specific period. I don't know. I personally don't think we're in the modern era anymore. I think we've gone past that. But I've already detailed in a previous one my half-joking ideas of how the eras can be split up. It's half-joking because I don't actually intentionally mean that we should base it entirely off of the various falls of the Roman Empire. Kind of sort of Rome's included. Ooh, nice. Tree farm. That's resin. It makes the tree farms ridiculously productive, so. Okay. Time to mine the uranium from that mountain. Yeah, the song I picked was actually, well, there were two options. One was a bit longer, and the other was a bit shorter. But one was almost 8 minutes, the other just over 5. And I figured the one that was just over 5 was more thematic if it meant that the result felt a little bit cramped on time. After all, the song was literally named Shaking and something something. Give me a moment. I'm gonna go through the files. Shaking and trembling. Okay. Yeah. Additionally, C2C does not have any atomic or modern or information era songs. So all these songs you're hearing now are base game. Well, assuming you're here. Okay, it's showing up on the recording software for the desktop audio, so yeah, it's guaranteed to be in there, in the video, even if it's perhaps drowned out by myself speaking. Has that been built? Yes. So where's the CGI studio? Over here. Okay, the industrial farms are the most likely thing to... Yeah, that's still on. One for the fact that this city also needs power. And I cannot accurately estimate the exact amount of production obtained until I have that. I mean, I can accurately estimate this one. It's gonna be plus 36 production in 20 turns. Okay, but after that, yeah, it's industrial farms. Because even the plus 75%, or plus 65% from manufacturing plant, just isn't that good. But it's next. That one's guaranteed. I'm building the wood-fired dynamo first because it's the cheapest one, and it's a while before the bio generator comes in. And I hope by that point I've instructed one of my cities to get through with the Atompunk stuff so that I can build something ludicrous. Build the ludicrous every city gets power building. Well, wonder. Hey, Winnow, can you make Atompunk? Yes, you can. It's pricey, but you know what? Can I rush this? Expensively, but yes. And, well, I may as well use the gold that I have. Okay. It's vital that I take down that fort. Certain spots are out of reach of any city, and I'm fine with putting forts there, but yeah. It's nice when it's just animals that need to be... Ah, great. Never mind. Yep, now I can do the push button on a mount, which... Yeah. Plenty of food. It does cost some maintenance, though. I also need heavy water, but most importantly of all is that one wonder, which is extremely powerful in what it does. But yeah, I do need heavy water. That's coming soon. It's already got a railroad, so I'm not worried about it. I keep feeling the need to improve Pi's territory, but there's not really a point to it. This yard still has a pretty good setup. What about Pago Pago? Yeah, it's working on improved water tiles, which implies that I should start hacking away at the stuff here. Yeah. Now it also becomes important to put a farm somewhere in every city's vicinity. Oh yeah, the video phone won't work. Once upon a time, video phones were the future. Isn't that a thought? Okay, the regular animation studio, yeah, might as well get out. Neat. Okay. Mod, but really the C80 studio should have priority. And get the heavy water production facility out of the way. I know Numia is one of the biggest of cities, but it's not that important. No. Because it's one of the smaller wonders. After all, it's a national wonder. So the heavy water production facility is going to provide a lot fairly quickly. Okay, you and I guess you. Okay. Those are pretty much all the buildings with 2-to-1 efficiency or better. Oops. Okay. Guess I'll have to do that later. Let's get a modern mine set up there. You know what? Yeah, I've got something to talk about, but I'm gonna wait until the current tech's done because, well, it is effectively the current tech. Chaos theory. And what it is. It is going to take a couple of turns. Well, probably. I mean, the exact timings tend not to be super duper set into stone for these sorts of things. So, what am I looking at? Oh, there's Seaside, which I'm going to have to build at some point. The Worldwide Fund for Nature. Eventually. Willis Tower is going to come in handy. Maybe it's a national wonder. Doesn't look like it. Okay. I don't think it would be this cheap, so... Oh, that's a World Trade Center. In case I actually needed gold, which I don't anymore. Ooh, Bell Labs. Where is this wonder that I'm thinking? Okay, there's no way it's before any of these. That's odd. I would have thought that it would find itself somewhere. Okay, Manhattan Project is not what I'm thinking of. Nor is that. Oh, so it is a national wonder. Superconductors are needed, as well as knowledge management? Oh. Because that's why I don't see it. I don't have superconductors and I don't have knowledge management. I would need either one for it to work. Oh well. Moving on. I mean, I still need heavy water, I believe, in the first place in order to make it go. It would be more productive to... No, it wouldn't. It's not really. Pasture allows me to keep the savannah. Fine. Fine. So, Hungara, do you have anything incredibly interesting? Well, that's a worldwide fund for nature, I guess. Fine, go ahead. The CGI studio should be appearing. Why isn't it appearing? Design studio, electronics. Oh. Manufacturing district. Okay. Great. I'm gonna have to further adjust things. Sure, well, Hilbert's problems. No quote? Alright then. Mathematicians believed that prediction was just a function of keeping track of things. If you knew enough, you could predict anything. Chaos theory throws it right out the window because, in fact, there are great categories of phenomena that are inherently unpredictable. Just to double check. Yeah. With that, I can start building arcs, and the mathematics department provides me with a lot more science. Okay. Alright, after we get aquaculture, I'm gonna go for superconductors. And then go rush for knowledge management so I can build that nuclear powerplex. Plus 200% production in the city that it's built. Sure, it costs 100 gold, but it has free effect. Nuclear powerplex in every city. Plus 200 production and power in every city. That is ludicrously potent. Anyway, chaos theory. That one is specifically for, well, chaotic systems. As to what a chaotic system is, it's one that evolves unpredictably. Well, not completely unpredictably, but hard to predict. I think I've mentioned this before, but the two-ended uh, pendulum is a great example of a chaotic system. You cannot predict exactly how things will go just from looking at it. Because if you change the starting situation slightly, the way it moves around just jumps. It puts itself into a state that you would not have ended up predicting beforehand. Simply because it ends up looking dramatically different. And I mean dramatically. And chaos theory is all about trying to um, realize when this is the case and coming up with at least some idea of how to handle them. Yep. CGI Studio. And of course, this thing is actually quite important. Why try to predict the unpredictable? Well, it helps to know what's potentially coming up. And the whole ability for people to respond to situations is at least partially reliant on, yeah, predictability, how well we can predict things coming. Because if we know what's coming, we can prepare for it, etc., etc. And while this is far from easy, it is potentially doable. We just have to know what we're doing. And that's why chaos theory is so helpful. It helps us get an idea of how to handle these things. And from that, we can start moving at least a little more with a little, you know, with the blinders, at least a little, the blindfold, at least a little bit pulled away. Or perhaps a bit more see-through, I don't know. But yes, it isn't helpful because, well, systems have patterns. And you can find analogies in places you wouldn't expect. Which can be surprisingly helpful. Oh, you've already built the CAT studio, haven't you? I'm so used to needing to build them for every city. Yeah, it's winter. Yeah, let's get you seaside. I just need to figure out which building is the mixed-use development building again. Oh boy. I think it's another food. No, it's absolutely not under food. Assuming I haven't already built. There's seaside. It's not buildable yet because it requires that. Maybe it's on the list of buildings that can't be built yet. No, that's Serum Village. It doesn't help that I don't recognize what exactly the mixed-use development building should look like. That's the country club. Medical clinic. That's a fire dock. Bots. Cannabis grow operation. Oh, there it is. Jeez. There you are. Yeah, this one's still far, far away from any possibility of building the CAD studio. Especially since it takes a lot of effort for not all that much gain, honestly. Although plus 20% is quite impressive, I must say. Should be good enough for that city for now. Yeah, admittedly, there wasn't much to say. I mean, don't get me wrong, Chaos Theory is very interesting. But admittedly, there's only so much I can do. I know better than to randomly speculate on things that I don't know all that much about. Destroy the factory and start mining gold there. I can get more production and gold in the process. And have the tile and produced any food whatsoever, I would have gotten some food back as well. But it doesn't, so that was actually why I built up there. No. I have to go quick. Or at least attempt to. It doesn't appear that any cities need anything, so there is at least that. Oh hey! Neat. Don't start the tree farm there. Okay, you're finally done replacing that. Yeah, that is a bit. But that's kind of unavoidable if I want to try going fast. I also need to ensure that at least one of my cities goes through the process of building ArcSiv. Oh yeah, right, I can't actually do anything because this tile isn't... It's just from forts, it's not inside of any city's actual reach. Oh, I forgot railroads in both of these tiles. Oops. That's even more annoying to railroad. There's no need to use napalm. It's just manufacturing complex. There's nothing else of utility that can be plopped on the ice. Okay, in theory the modern windmill can be, but it just doesn't provide as much. I lose quite a bit of production to get a bit, well, some more commerce, and it's not even as much commerce as the production. And I tend to value production the most, and after that, commerce and food. So it's only when there's noticeably more. I bother to build that instead, and this isn't one of those cases where it does in fact work well enough for it to be reasonable. Okay, so I need the modern offices. Okay, where do they sit? There they are. No point building though. Okay, yeah. Mm. It's all the buildings with 2-to-1 efficiency. Let's get these. I could potentially unlock some new stuff. There's also the clean nuclear reactor. Oh wow, yeah, that's why I want heavy water. Once I have access to the heavy water from the water production building, that is an incredibly effective setup. You saw that, plus 30 production in 14 turns, in a city that doesn't have that much base production. So, it's a lot. Okay, there's still a city that needs direction and where to go, production-wise. No, 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 no. Huh, okay, there. Oh, I did railroad that. Okay. I just can't really see it from here because it's right on this bit. Yeah, very nice. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, the energy drink factory. This, and that. Yeah, okay. Grand Aerodrome never really gets replaced by anything. What do you need for ArcSiv? A computer. Okay. Anyway. Oh. Oh, replaces the video phone network. Okay, so there's no reason to build the video phone stuff. I'm not gonna go through and look for every instance of it, though. That's way too much. Okay, those two buildings are... City lacks power. That much is obvious. No, no, it already has that. Okay, no, it might not be lack of power, it might be something else. Yeah, if it lacked power, that wouldn't be nearly as productive as that. That's faintly ludicrous. The sheer amount of production provided. Okay, build that. Yeah, should be good for now. Compared to the tannery, the leather factory only provides one more production. Which, considering how cheap it is, the tannery, yeah. Yeah, it's obvious. Built the tree farm. Compared to all the other options, it's the obvious improvement. It's out of reach. Well, I can still railroad the tile in order to make it easier to access down the line.
Kelp, it's what's for breakfast.
Moving on. Yeah, the aqua farm is one of the composites. Oh, no. Of course iron appears right here. I can't build a farm there. Or there. Or, you know, here. Astrobiology lab. This, and this, and that, and... Yep, animation studio. this, that. No video phone network. That's right. I need to remember that I don't need to build those. Okay, CGI Animation Studio, and then... I mean, one of the really neat parts about aqua farming is that it can actually... Why? Is that it can actually, you know, get a lot of usable food and whatnot out of water, which is a space that we normally don't interact with much outside of, well, you know, drinking water, waste exhaust, which is probably a thing that shouldn't be done, and gets done. And, you know, fishing and whatnot. But we don't really build infrastructure there. We sometimes use it as infrastructure. Because, you know, waterways are natural highways and all that. But outside of that, we don't really do any practical infrastructure outside of stuff like docks. Especially not when compared to, well, yeah, let's just toss Venture Industries here. Workshop on the tile? Okay. Obviously that needs to be replaced with something that's actually valuable. Yeah, I can't I have to remove the forest. I can't build the previous version of the mine anymore. Oh well. Oh. I need a moment, sorry. There we are. I'm back. Of course, I mean, I mentioned a while ago, well, at the start, that I had taken some time to look through music. In order to get an idea for a good song to use. When it came to the drawing time lapse, and in the process, I also have a fairly good one for the planned, well, I say planned. At this point, by the time you're watching this, it'll be finished. But the drawing time lapse, yeah. I have found one. I think it's called Chairman Dances, which is long. It's 13 minutes long. But it seems like a very fitting song for what I have planned. Although saying this, I mean, you could check yourself how many, uh, in, Atomic Era episodes there are. I don't know yet because I haven't. Well, I think it's 24. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 24, which is 8 weeks worth. So it's gonna be like 2 months, ish. I mean, it's probably gonna be slightly less. I hope it's slightly less than 2 months for me to get through all that nonsense. What I mean by that is the various bits of prep work that I need to do. Because, I mean, there's no reason to do the drawing time lapse until I don't have anything else to edit and or upload. I mean, I certainly hope that I get an average of more than 1 week for both every weekend or so. Because if I don't, that's probably not a good thing. Okay, so that's tin ore. Okay, production buildings out of the way, and then... Yeah, because of the fact that there are 3 separate buildings that I need to get in order to get the CAD studio, this is going to be quite a few episodes where I end up doing a lot more in that department. Well, yeah, handling cities is what I mean. Yeah, when there are no food buildings whatsoever built, especially among the early ones, it floods the screen. It simply ends up flooding the screen with buildings. Yeah, I'm doing my best. Give me a minute. Quit honking. Yep, that seems to be the last of the cities for this turn. God. Hopefully, as I get the CAD studios and all that done and dusted, that will be the last for a little while. Okay, there's still going to be the power plants with heavy water and whatnot. Oh, that's talking worked. Nice. Still prefer the tree farm. Okay, the aluminum smelter. Probably. Well, I don't actually need the shopping district because apparently the barter thing, the trading post, has already been built. Yeah. Yeah, trading post. Okay, let's see here. Coffee shop's quite good, same as the lumber mill. Rat catcher can wait. Ooh, clockwork workshop. The mathematics department can also wait because arcsiv. Yeah. Hopefully that ends up resolving itself sooner rather than later. The crane is ridiculous enough to easily build without any real contemplation on the matter. Although that does raise the question of why it hasn't been built yet. Oh, wait. Right, it's Cahokia. The, the city's queue might be a little bit odd. I'm sure there's plenty of cities that could use a seawall, and I haven't built the seawall yet. It's a tough building to find because it doesn't show up in the production list. So I keep forgetting that it even exists. Another mine for the mountaintop. Traffic Engineering Agency. Okay. I think Pasokete has already built the CAD studio, or has it? Yes. Yes, it has. It also built the video and phone network, which is not actually useful, but, well, there's something else I can do now. Office. There we go. Just science as much as possible. Anything else? Not really. Not down here. There's these nuisances, though, that I can deal with. Okay, 3 more turns. And then I'll call it for the session. Ooh, walrus culture. Doesn't provide any science, but does provide a bit of culture. Yeah, that's just mud. It's not any sort of grains. It's just mud. Yeah, the small reactor factor is also a possibility. It does provide as much production, but it still provides production. And there's also potentially the re-education center if I were to build the jail, but I don't feel like building the jail. Whoops. Okay, nice. CGI. Okay, yeah, that has been built. What about the other thing? No, it has not. There we go. Ah, we built the customs. Now to build everything else, like the carpenter, which is... wow. Farm supply is also extremely good. Wait, do you have electricity or do you not? No, you don't have electricity. Okay. Factory and then wood-fired dynamo. So the dynamo can be built without a factory. That actually is quite good to know. It's a little late to learn that. Just a bit. Not that much, mind you. Gotta check that sulfur. Might be worth it getting rid of the tree farm from the tile.
What is happiness? The feeling that power is growing and that resistance is overcome.
Ah, Nietzsche. Okay, so this does allow me to build a research institute. And the super collider. And the fast breeder reactor. If I have a river. Which gets me plus 20 production plus 20%. It is a replacement for the nuclear plant, so if I can build this thing, then there's no point building the nuclear plant. It certainly should be an interesting new building for some things. Yeah, it's fine to make the replacement. Oh, and I should not just willy-nilly. Unless it's like, so I should just order the workers and then. I didn't mean for the next turn to come up. Okay, so I'll just stop at the start of the turn. So. A lot of tiles are running out of improvements that need to be done. Fine, I'll handle you. Oh, it replaces a clean nuclear reactor. So I don't need to worry about the clean nuclear reactor anymore. Still has a small reactor factory. That still requires heavy water, and I don't have, still. But don't worry about it too much. Jeez, the plus 50 production is a lot. Especially since the clean nuclear reactor doesn't replace anything, so it's its own building. And since I haven't built any of those yet, so I don't have any heavy water. Yeah, it is rather ridiculous, the amount that I get done there. Okay, this is the order. Okay. Okay. No more for the turn. We're at an hour. Stop, please. So. Yeah, things seem to be doing well with the spread of the culture. There are still tiles that have gotten left behind. That's mainly because I stopped the further construction of more forts because we really don't need those. At least I certainly don't think so. Especially when it goes and covers up tiles that I've already built stuff like mines on. This is why I turned off the automation. I could not trust it anymore. Because apparently force count is infrastructure. Yeah. I mean, it does spread the culture around, but there are better ways to do that. Still need to set up the city in a city down here, and finally over here, Yeah, there. And there might be a couple spots, like around here, because this area is just fully unexploited. There really isn't much of anything here. Like maybe place the city here or here. Either one would work fine-ish, or here. Any of these options would work fine-ish. This one would be the furthest away from any cities, but it doesn't have a river to work with, which, considering the recently unlocked nuclear power plant, fast breeder reactor, yeah, that plus 20% production is not something that the regular nuclear power plant has. Of course, eventually, even, yeah, all the stuff, including the Atompunk stuff, gets replaced by the Gen 4 reactor, which also doesn't need rivers anymore. But that requires industrial ecology. Which, for a reference, industrial ecology sits somewhere around here. Give me a minute to actually find it. Okay, start from here, work my way back. There it is. Yeah. Weird how fracking is here. I wouldn't have expected it, but... Okay. Right. Yeah, let's call it here. Now, of course, things that must be done. There always are. Oh, I could have built that. But yeah, we've gotten ourselves a small foothold into the information era. Even if it's only 3 more techs. But once I have these, plus 1 free merchant in all cities. A tech can do that. Huh, I wasn't aware of that. Well, that's nice. But yeah, once we have that, I can start building the nuclear power complex. And also this InfoNet, which gets me a little bit more science and a little bit more experience for units, I guess. The National Medical Database is going to work wonders, though. Since that can even further lower the amount of disease. Although that's not really a problem. At least as far as I'm aware. Yeah. It's weird how I don't even have a problem with air pollution. Yeah, that one's really weird. I would have expected problems with air pollution, but... yeah, that really is odd. Okay, here disease is an issue, but it's Karakara. The conquered cities have different building setups than I'm used to. Yeah, there's crime here. And here as well, sure, fine. But once you get back to the main ones, then it's not really a problem. Like here, crime isn't an issue. Well, it's straddling the line a bit, but it's not an issue. Neither is, okay, disease isn't at all. Nor is water pollution. Air pollution is actually a bit of a problem. Can have some effects. I don't see anything here, which is nice. Either way, I think I've gone on long enough. I'll see you again next time. Until then, bye. Although I will, before we leave, point out we have hit 500,000 signs. And I'm not even in Golden Age, which is so nice. The sheer amount I produce now. That's 5,000 per city. Anyway, I'll see you again next time. Until then, bye.